Hello YouTube, hello viewers, and welcome back to another episode of creating our social media API using Laravel. Today I did say we were going to be doing password resets. I kind of changed that a little bit because I thought we'd introduce something a little bit more fun, which is mail. Now obviously we're going to need mail because when you do password resets, you like to send off an email to the user that they can click, and then we can reset their password just to verify that it is them. So you can't just randomly change passwords and stuff. But we're going to make this email work through the whole flow, because if we look at our database that we've been working with, you'll notice that in our database, we have this email verified at that we had in there. These are currently set to null, and basically our users can just log in even though they haven't verified, and we want to make sure that that is working. And we're going to do that following a few different steps. One, we're obviously going to have to create a new table, not in this episode, but it will be in the future one, where we can create like little tokens, for example, and we can check tokens and etc. just to make sure it's a little bit more validated. And then once they click on the link, for example, when it comes to the email, it'll check that token and then it'll validate that user. And we can then set this to a date, which I think it is. So let's get straight into this and creating our mail. The first thing we're going to need to do is we need to jump onto the interwebs, and I need you to go onto this website called MailTrap.io. And this is going to manage everything that we're going to do with mail. Now, obviously a free account will only allow you to have so many, but it works for our pretty much our mission that we're doing right now. And once you sign up, you'll get to the screen, and you want to just change this to Laravel because we want these settings. Now you don't use mine because obviously it'll come to my box and it'll just flood it, and I'll just change it anyways if I do start seeing lots of mail coming in. So just grab your own mail stuff, and we're going to put this, as it says, into our env file. So let's go into our project and let's go to our env file, which is just here. And we're just going to replace all our mail stuff here. So Control V. And we're just going to save that. And now this is pretty much our mail client setup. Obviously, once you go into production or anything like that, you'd set that up to be your own stuff. So whatever your specific mail client is. So this could be Google or Hotmail or whatever you're using as your mail client. And you'll just change the settings from here. But what's going to happen is anytime we send a mail from our project, it's just going to get stuck in this mail trap, and it's good for development anyways. So how do we do this? Well, making mail is actually dead simple inside Laravel. All we need to do is go into our console, and let's have a look and see if we have anything in our make commands that will show us anything to do with mail. And we do here. Look, see, in our make, we have something called make mail. So let's use this. So we're going to do PHP artisan make mail, and we can call it anything. Now remember, we're going to follow the flow. So our first mail we're going to make is going to be register user mail. And if we hit enter, that's going to create us a new class, and it should be in a new folder as well. So let's have a look. Inside our app, if we go down, we now have this thing called mail. If we go into it, it's got a few classes and extends our mailable stuff. So this is all predefined in Laravel, and it does a few things like queuing and serializing, and queues we'll look at in more of an instance later on. We have a construct, so this will become useful when we get to it, and we have this build. However, you're going to notice something a little bit strange. We have a view. Now, remember I said to you that we are back-end devs here. We don't do any front-end. However, we're going to have to do a little bit of front-end because we want to display something to the user in the email. So we're going to have to create a view, and views are controlled in blades in Laravel. And blades are pretty much just like the HTML front-end type of stuff for Laravel. And you would have seen it when you used the URL for your local project, and you would have seen that Laravel logo on the front and then some icons or links at the bottom. And so we need to make ourselves a view for this register user. And it's dead simple to do. So if we go into our resources here, so if we look in our project, we have this thing called resources, and we have this thing called views. Now this welcome blade is that very first thing we see. We don't really want to go to that. We want to make our own folder just to keep things all nice and neat. And we're just going to call it mail. And we're going to create a new file. And we're just going to call it register _user .blade, very important, .php. make sure you have this .blade.php, but you can call this whatever you like, as long as you call this .blade.php. Say OK. And this is basically just going to be an empty PHP file. That's fine because we're going to start adding some logic to it shortly. So how do we actually make this work? Well, technically, it's dead simple. We're going to be doing this on our register, so we need to make sure we're in our auth controller and go into our register. So let's go into our auth controller and let's have a look at register. So currently our logic was that we're just going to register a user, make him a token, and return a response back. This is not how things should be done. Normally when you register a user, you'll send that email or an email off to that user. They click on something and then obviously it activates the user. They then log in and then get a token. Not this way. This is not a way how we should do it. So we're actually going to scrap all this. We're going to delete it. We're just going to keep our first bit, which was our user. Now we can do a simple check to see if we've got a user. That's simple. Actually, but user. So just an if statement. And all we're going to do now is we're going to send a mail to that user. And it's dead simple in Laravel. We use mail and we're going to import this Illuminate support facade here. If you're not too sure what it looks like, on line 10 here, it looks like use Illuminate support facades mail. Pretty much the same as the auth, just with mail at the end. And really all we have to do is say, okay, who are we mailing? So who do we want to mail? And we want to mail our user email. Now where does that come from, you say? Well, we know that when we register a user in the database, we actually capture their email here. So we can use that to send it to the correct person. But then what do we do after that? Well, all we have to do after that is we just have to send the email. We just do arrow send. But what are we sending? Well, we made this thing called register user mail. And remember, if we pass into a class, we just go new register user mail. And that's it. And that's going to be able to send our email to the user. But we're just going to send an empty email and we don't really want to do that. So we're going to fill it up with a bit of stuff just so you can see how it works. So we can pass some stuff in. Let's just pass the user in. So we can just get some information. Obviously, in our next episode, we're probably going to send in a token as well into this. So we can attach a token to our URL, for example. But for now, we just want to see it working. Let's pop into our class. And in our construct, obviously, we need to add our user because we've passed that in. And we can just say this user is equal to $user, semicolon. And we just obviously need to make sure that it's protected. Why am I doing at $user? That at out. Okay. And now that's pretty much ready to go. Now we just need to build the email. And this is how we're going to build the email and then send it to the person. And again, this is really easy to do. It's not difficult to send this at all. I'll guide you step by step of how we do this. So we're going to have $this. And it's going to be from someone. And who's it going to be from? Well, this could be anyone. So I'm just going to be wazza@youtube.com. You could put whatever email address you like in there because that's just a from account. Normally you'd put like an env in your env directory and you'll probably have like no reply at whatever. That's just the standard way how you do things. But what am I going to do with, how do I show someone something? Well, we just pass in a view. Brackets. And what view are we sending? Well, we're sending this register underscore user. Because remember we made this blade. However, this won't work because we put the register user in mail. So we need to make sure we have mail.register user. Now this would work. We could send this off and basically it would then give a blank email. But we don't want to do that because we might want to attach some stuff into the email that we want to send. And to do that, we use this parameter called width. And this width is type of an array. And we're going to pass some stuff in here. Now, just for this tutorial, I'm only going to pass the user's name because it's easy to use and we can see it inside the email. So we say name and we're going to say this user name. Arrow there. Name. Oh, no semicolon there, sorry. Semicolon here. So basically this is saying we're going to run this view and we're going to pass this name to the view. So how do we grab that? Well, we just jump into our view now, so into our blade, and let's just do some basic HTML. So HTML, some people might like this. I hate this stuff. This is something I'm really bad at. Really, really bad. And we're just going to do an H1 tag, and we're just going to go user. Because we passed the name, we use 2 curlies, open, and 2 curlies to close, and then $name, like so. You got to make sure that it's exactly the same as what it says here. So name needs to be exactly the same here. Notice we pass a $, because we're passing it in and we're setting it as a variable here. So now we've got that up and running. Let's check our auth controller and see if everything's working. So if we've got a user, we're going to mail. Okay, that's good, but we're not got anything back to say that we've sent an email. So we can use our pretty cool response helper. And success message. And we're going to say that it's true. And we're going to say register email sent. So this is for our front end guys. And then the data we're going to pass in, let's just pass in the user. And if we don't have a user, what do we do then? Well, we can again use our little response helper. So return $this response helper error message or error response false, and then we're going to pass in a message saying no user created. I guess we'll just do that, and let's just pass 404. Probably not the best error code, but we're just going to say he's not found. So now we've got messages coming back, the email's being sent, so this should now technically work. So let's jump into our Postman and let's open up our register and make sure our routes are correct. So because we did change our group, so let me just double check to make sure that is correct. So we've got users and it's register, users, register. Perfect. And now we're just going to give it a name. So let's call it, I don't know, Wazza, email, Wazza. And let's hit the send button. And success. So we have a success message saying true. The register email has been sent, and we attach this data of Wazza. So let's check our emails. And here we go. Here's our email. A few seconds ago, our user has been attached with the name Wazza in here. We can see it's from wazzayoutube.com and also to. And that's pretty much how easy it is to send emails inside Laravel. Obviously, we're going to make it a little bit more complicated because we need to send tokens and we're going to make new routes, and it's going to be pretty cool. But we're going to break that into a few different episodes. I don't want to fully head with too much. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you really liked it, make sure you share this with all your friends. Again, thank you for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.